Hi guys, thank you for watching all of these videos so far. Hopefully they have been very helpful for you in understanding the entire buying process and types of agencies. We are now at the last part of the buying process. This part kind of gets done behind the scenes for you. There's not much you need to deal with. There are a few little odds and ends that the title company will ask you for, but in general, this is all happening behind the scenes, getting you prepared for settlement. So when we go under contract, we will order title with a Pennsylvania title company. There are a lot of title companies. We have relationships with title companies that we like to work with. Once again, if you know somebody that does title work in Pennsylvania, we can use your title agency. Otherwise, we'll take care of it for you. So there are a few main functions that the title company performs for us. So number one is they are going to be responsible for holding settlement for us. They will take care of getting the deed, the title, and all the settlement sheets prepared with the numbers for settlement so that you know exactly how much money you need to bring to the settlement table. They will coordinate with the lender to make sure that they have all of the lender compliance, that everything is added up correctly on the settlement sheet known as the ALTA, so that you guys don't have to do any of that, which is nice. So title coordinates with the lender to make sure all of the numbers are correct. The other thing title does, and this is really the most important thing that title does other than conducting settlement, is they're going to make sure your property is free and clear of any liens or judgments from the seller, meaning they have no money owed on the house that you're unaware of that you could be stuck with. The title company will not insure the property with title insurance if there are liens and judgments on the property. Also, if you're buying with mortgage financing, the lender will not allow that to happen either. So when you buy a house in the state of Pennsylvania, it is free and clear of liens and judgments. A main lien that is normally on the property, not a big deal, is the seller's mortgage that they have on the property. It's the number one thing. Another lien could be a tax lien if they haven't been paying their taxes. Another one could be a mechanic's lien if they owe a contractor money for work that they did that has been paid. Those last two very rarely happen. They do happen from time to time, but in general, with a normal transaction with the seller selling their house, moving on to another house, it's just the mortgage that needs to be taken care of. But moral of that story is the title company is doing a full rundown on the title to make sure there are no liens and judgments, and if there are, they are being addressed at the settlement table, being paid off, so that when you take possession, it's a blank slate, zero, and then you start putting your liens and judgments on the property with the mortgage and so on and so forth. So that is the title company's main function other than conducting settlement, and they will provide you with that title insurance. So they are doing all those things, and then they are insuring the title just to give you another layer of protection to confirm that there are no liens and judgments on the table. And if something were to have been missed, like with any other type of insurance, you would take that issue to the title company, and the insurance would take care of whatever that lien or judgment is. Now, title company doesn't want an insurance claim to happen, so they are doing their due diligence. They are very thorough to make sure things are clear on that. So once the title is clear, similar to a clear to close with the lender, we are able to settle on the property. So it's starting to get fun here, guys. This is the best part. So we have all the clear to closes on title. We have all the clear to closes on the lending. And the next step is that we schedule the walkthrough of the property to make sure it's still in the same condition it was in when we went under contract. So usually we do a walkthrough of the property either the day of settlement or the day before settlement, just to make sure that it's there. There's no new leaks, the basement's not flooded, the house isn't falling down, anything like that. We do a full walkthrough of the property. You know, as your realtor, I'm testing all of the systems, making sure the HVAC's working properly, making sure all of the sinks are flowing with hot and cold water, making sure the oven turns on, making sure the microwave works, make sure the HVAC system turns on. So we're doing all of that while you're envisioning where you're putting your furniture and doing measurements and all that fun stuff. Another thing that's very important at that post-settlement walkthrough is that you either do it that day or you do it prior to, and you need to put the utilities in your name, or you will have no power, gas, or water on the day of settlement when you walk in, because that is when the seller turns off their systems like that. So in Pennsylvania, PECO is the main electric provider. In the suburbs, PECO also provides your natural gas supply. In Philadelphia, there is a separate company called Philadelphia Gas Works, so you would need to have a PECO account and a PGW account if you're living in the city of Philadelphia. If you're in the burbs, it's just PECO in general. In the city of Philadelphia, The water department is a public utility, and the title company will take care of switching the water into your name from the seller's name. When you buy in the suburbs, it's usually Aqua, Pennsylvania, and that is a private utility, and you would be responsible for putting water in your name. We will tell you all of these things as we get closer to settlement, but that's just something to keep in mind. You must change the utilities into your name, or you will not have utilities when you move into your house. So keep that in mind. We will remind you of that. But if you remember nothing else from this part of the video series, make sure you put the utilities in your name. One final thing with settlement, as we conduct settlement, is we're going to get the numbers of what you need to bring to the table money-wise several days before settlement is scheduled. So what you need to know is you need to bring that amount of money to the settlement table, or we will not be able to buy a house. There are two main ways of bringing that money. Either you can get a certified check from your bank, or you can wire that money to the title company, because they will be conducting settlement. It is very important that you know this number several days before settlement, and that we bring this money to the table, or you will not be buying the property. One other thing we did not talk about earlier in the process that's good to talk about it now is when you're buying the house with the financing, there is the down payment you're putting down on the house, and then there are closing costs that are associated with the transaction. So closing costs in general are about 4 to 5% of the sale. So if we're buying that $300,000 house, your closing costs are going to be roughly $15,000 in addition to the down payment. So if you're putting 20% down, you have a $60,000 down payment that you're putting on the house, and then you have another $15,000 that on top of that to actually settle on the property. Your closing costs in general are a transfer tax that you pay at settlement. Seller pays part, you pay part. Your lender cost, so whatever the lender is charging you to do the loan, and then your title insurance. And they are the three main fees that you see in that 5%. Sometimes you will be paying a buyer agent commission, depending on whether the seller is paying the commission or if you would be responsible for the commission. So you can assume another 2.5% or less if you're paying your agent's commission. If not, then it would be that 4 to 5%. So max you're paying 7-8% in closing costs, but in general it'll be more 4 to 5%. So keep that in mind. That's the money that you're going to need for the settlement. So we're almost there. We get through the walkthrough, the house is in good shape, you can change the utilities to your name, you've got the money that you need for settlement, and then we go to settlement and we settle on the property. The title company, once again, will be conducting settlement. You have a title officer there that is reviewing all the title docs, the lending docs. Your agent will be there to review anything that you have questions about as well. You sign your life away at that point. They do not ask for DNA, but sometimes they feel like it is. We go through that. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour to complete all of the settlement documents. Once you sign, all the documents get sent to the lender to verify through underwriting one last time. That's a very quick process. They close out the deal. You get the keys to the house. You are now a homeowner. All right, guys, so that's the process. So once you get your keys, you are now a homeowner. Congratulations. So to recap, find a realtor you can trust. Figure out if you're buying with cash or getting financing with a lender. Figure out what type of house you're looking for. Go see the houses. And it's my job to write the agreement to sell it for you. We negotiate with the seller, come to terms, get through all of our contingencies, make sure title's clear, make sure you get clear to close from the lender. We do our walkthrough, and you become a homeowner. That is the process. Sounds really easy when I say it in 10 seconds, but as you can tell from the 4-part series, it is very robust, and that's why you need to have a realtor you can trust that knows the ins and outs of the process. So if you'd like to work with us, or if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out, thearagonagroup.com. And if you are in the market to sell your house, we will have a seller series just like this one in another part of the YouTube channel. So check that out, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks for watching.